Hello, welcome to The Old Principal. I am the Old Principal, Lao Xiaozhang, and we are now at lesson number 83, Code Talkers. We have a picture, I think this came from the movie about the Code Talkers, and I just want you to notice the words Code Talkers. Code is 密码. It's also language, can be a language or 密码, and talkers, 报信员, 报信员. Okay, these are the code talkers. Apparently from the picture comes from the movie. So with that, here we go. But you got to have a story. The reader, here she is.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Philip Johnston spent much of his childhood in Navajo country, learning their language and customs. As an adult, Johnston spent a lot of time lecturing about the Navajo Indians. The Navajo language is tonal. Just a slight change in the pitch of a vowel can completely alter a word's meaning. Their words are almost impossible for most people to pronounce. During World War II, the U.S. government needed a way to broadcast information to their troops without the enemy understanding it. In 1942, Philip Johnston thought of a code based on the Navajo language. He considered it unbreakable by the enemy because only about 30 outsiders spoke the language. So he thought their language would be useful in transferring wartime messages. The United States military accepted his suggestion and selected the first 30 code talkers. Many of these young Navajos had never been off the reservation, which made it difficult for them to adjust to military life. Yet they endured. They worked night and day helping to create and learn the code. The program worked so well that by the end of the war, the U.S. Marine Corps had recruited 420 Navajo men as code talkers. On the battlefield, the code was never written down, it was always spoken. Unfortunately, military leaders in the field were skeptical. The first recruits had to prove the code's worth. But soon most of the commanders were grateful for the speed and accuracy of the Navajo men. However, because of their Asian facial features, Navajo code talkers were often mistaken for Japanese soldiers by their own men. Many were nearly shot, and some commanders supplied bodyguards for them. From 1942 until 1945, Navajo code talkers participated in numerous battles in the Pacific. They played a major role in the Allied success in the Pacific. Their code was never deciphered by the enemy.
Okay, thank you. You've done well. Now, here we go. Philip Johnston. This is a person's name. Philip, 签名, 他的姓, Johnston. Spent much of his childhood in Navajo country. Okay. 花了 much of his childhood. 小孩子的时候 in Navajo country. Okay, Navajo. First of all, Navajo is a tribe of Indians. So, 这个 Navajo 印第安人 Navajo Navajo. Sounds strange, doesn't it? With a J. But it has a H sound. In Navajo country. Country 一般是一个国家或乡下 but in this case 是保留地. In other words, in America, Indians have special land. It's called 保留地, reservation. Actually, we will see that word a little bit later in the story. Okay, he spent much of his childhood in Navajo country learning their language, 语言, and customs, 文化. Now, this is very interesting because very few people did that. 很少有人是学他们的语言, language and customs. Going on. As an adult, 成人的时候, Johnston spent a lot of time, what? Lecturing. What is lecture? To lecture. So, to give speeches. Okay? About what? He talked about Navajo Indians. People were very interested in the Navajos and their customs and their language. Going on. The Navajo language is tonal. In this respect, it's same as Chinese. 有音调. Now, 平常 we say 有 tones, 有音调. Okay? But if we use it as a descriptive 形容词, the language is tonal, T-O-N-A-L. It just means that 他们的语言是有音调的. Just a slight change of pitch. Okay, pitch. What is that? The 音调, okay, 音调. Okay, and just change it a little tiny bit, and what happens? You don't know what they said. You just don't know. Okay, a slight change of the pitch of the vowel. Okay, what is a vowel? Everybody knows what a vowel is. 元音音调. Okay, 元音 is vowel. Can completely alter the word's meaning. Can change the word's meaning. See, for us Westerners, when we study Chinese, 当我们西方来的人, we struggle with the 音调. We struggle with the tones of the language. Because in English, we don't have tones. Tones are not important for meaning, at least. Okay, going on. Their words are almost impossible for people to pronounce. So, 几乎是不可能发音的. Okay, I'd love to listen to some. Maybe someday I'll have to listen to Navajos speaking. But very difficult to pronounce. 发音. Going on. During World War II, 第二次世界大战的时候, the U.S. government, 美国政府, needed some way to broadcast information. 需要一个方法传递这个信息给他们的军队 their troops, 给军队避免 without the enemy understanding, 避免这个敌人 这个地人明白他们所说的是什么。So this is the problem. Okay, go ahead. In 1942, this is a long, long time ago. This was 1 year before I was born. I was born in 1943. Okay? In 1942, Philip Johnston thought of a code based upon the Navajo language. 他就想到一个密码语言 ，OK， 密码语言 based upon 是用来 Navajo 他们的语言 ，OK。Do you know why he thought about that? Check out the next one. He considered it 没有办法破解，他认为是没有办法破解 ，OK? Because only 30 outsiders spoke the language. 只有30个人能外人，就是说不是印第安人，不是 Navajo Indians， 只有 Navajo Indians 以外的外人，只有30位能懂这些话，他们的话。Going on. So he thought their language would be useful. 他就想，他们的语言肯定是很有用，特别是当他要 transfer wartime messages， 把这个战争时候的信息 transfer. What does that mean? Transfer means to 传递 Okay? Going on. The United States military, you can understand, you do not want your enemies, 根本就不要这个敌人明白你说的话是什么 You don't want them. And yet, at this time, they were very skillful. The enemies were very skillful in 破解, breaking the languages and the codes. The United States military, okay, 军队 accepted his suggestion, 接受他的这个idea, 他所提出来的 and selected the first 30 code talkers. 他就选上头30个那些这个密码报信员 Okay, so you got 30. Actually, I don't know if it says here, but one of them didn't make it, so it ended up being 29. One of them, I don't know, for some reason didn't work out very well. Many of these young Navajo Indians, there's a Navajo Indian, many of these young Navajos had never been off the reservation. 从来没有离开他们的保留地，从来没有。Okay? They had never been off the reservation, which made it 那样的话 okay? Which 那样的话 made it difficult for them to adjust to military. 使他们很不容易应付适应那这个军队的生活 Of course, hey, listen, you don't have to be an Indian and you don't have to live on a reservation to have a hard time understanding or coping with these military life. 军队的生活都不一样So 难怪 Really, it's not surprising at all that they had a difficult time 适应 adjusting to military life. 再来 Yet they endured. Okay, yet, 但 Okay, they endured. Okay, 它是坚持坚持 Okay, 坚持到底 maybe you could say. Okay, they worked night and day. Okay, what does it mean to work night and day? Well, that means exactly what it is. They worked during the daytime. They worked at the nighttime. They were working all the time. Okay, what were they doing? To create and learn code. Think language. Okay, they're thinking of a military language. And when I read about this, very interesting how they did it. And obviously, we don't have time in this session to talk about, but it was very, very interesting how they made their language. But it was always Navajo language, right? Navajo language. Going on. The program worked so well, 所以他们的计划 program 这个成功到什么地步 worked so well 成功到什么地步 that by the end of the war 战争结束的时候 the U.S. Marine Corps had recruited 420 Navajo men as code talkers. Okay, United States, U.S. Marine Corps 海军陆战队 Okay, 海军陆战队 Marine Corps. Very strange, right? How do you get core out of, sounds like it should be spelled C-O-R-E, right? No. C-O-R-P-S means core, 陆战队. Okay? They had recruited. What does it mean to recruit? It means to 招募. That means to find somebody and ask them to do something. Okay? Recruited 420. Not bad. They started with 30 and then they end up with 420. The Navajo men as code talkers. So now you got 420 of things. But things were not quite as easy as you would think, okay? On the battlefield, okay, 战场, okay, the code was never written down. It was always spoken. So nobody had the code in written form. It was never written down. Either you remember it or you don't. Okay? So the mima is put in here. It was never written down. Going on. Unfortunately, the military leaders, 这个军队的领袖们不幸 unfortunately 不幸 okay, the military leaders in the field. Okay, what is the field? That means 在战场上 okay. In the military leaders in the field were skeptical. What does it mean to be skeptical? To be skeptical means to doubt or to 怀疑. Okay? They were skeptical. They said, hey, it won't work. It won't work. It can't work. No. This is being skeptical. Okay? The first recruits had to prove the code's worth. Recruits is somebody who has just been recruited. So these are the first persons that have been asked to participate, had to prove, 他们必须证明 the 密码的价值. Okay? So the military leaders in the field were skeptical. The first recruits, the first ones who were the code talkers, had to prove, 要证明, you have to prove it, you have to show that it has some value. Going on. But soon, most of the commanders were grateful for the speed and accuracy of the Navajo men. 过不久, the commanders, 司令员 to command, 司令, okay, commanders, 司令员, 军官等等啊, were grateful, 蛮感恩的, okay, for the speed. So they were fast. They were fast at making the code. And one other thing, accuracy. Accuracy. 非常非常准确. Okay, of the Navajo man. Okay, going on. However, because they had Asian facial features, okay, 他们的脸上, however, because of their Asian, 看起来好像亚洲人, facial, 他们的面貌, their face, features, 面貌. Navajo code talkers were often mistaken for Japanese. 人家是糟糕这个日本人来了 Okay, mistaken. People made the mistake that they were Japanese soldiers, 军人 by their own men. 所以连的这个美国呢军队只是搞错了，以为他们是日本人。Going on, many were nearly shot. 这个差一点是被枪打的And some commanders, 的这个司令员，这个军官 actually 提供 supplied bodyguards. What is a bodyguard? A bodyguard is 保卫的一些人 Okay, a bodyguard. Have I ever had a bodyguard? I don't have to have a bodyguard, but like the President of the United States, he has to have a bodyguard, somebody to protect him. So these Navajo code talkers had to have people to protect them. Going on. From 1942 to 1945, Navajo code talkers participated in 参与 many, it says numerous. Numerous, do you know where numerous comes from? Number. Have you ever heard of number? 数字 numerous. Many battles. 战斗中 Where? In the 太平洋, in the Pacific. Okay? So 42 to 45, the Navajo code talkers participated in numerous battles. 太平洋的很多的战斗中 Going on. They played a major role in the Allied success. Okay? 联军 Allied. 联军 Okay, they played a major role. 一个很主要的一个角色 OK， 主要的，他们发挥一个主要的角色 in the Allied success， 叫联军的这个成功啊，这个非常重要。Their code was never deciphered by the enemy。他们的密码，他们的语言，从来没有被这个敌人这个破解。Okay, decipher is another way of saying 破解, to decipher something, to decipher. This is actually probably the best word. Going on. Oh, we're done. Whoa. It's time for Mrs. Ash to come out here. Okay, here she comes, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, when we were young, we used to speak a language. I was trying to remember. Do you remember what the language is? One language I spoke was alfalfa language. But alfalfa, Calfan, Yulful, Spielfeek, alfalfa languilifage. Now, did you understand what I said? I don't think she understood.
Yes, I do.
Okay. That's
Can
about
you
all.
speak
Alfalfa.
alfalfa language?
Language. Hey, but that was only when we were young and we did think funny things like that. Okay, well, with that, we better share with them here what they can write an email letter to us. 可以把电邮发给我们 theoldprinciple@gmail.com theoldprinciple@gmail.com and our website 我们的网站是 www.theoldprinciple.org www.theoldprinciple.org. With that, we've run out of time. Thanks for joining us, and please join us again.
Bye-bye.